Servus zusammen, hallo, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe des 1:1 Talks. Schön, dass ihr mit dabei seid. Es ist diesmal wieder ein bisschen spezieller. Und zwar haben sich Julian Nagelsmann und unser FC Bayern Basketballcoach Andrea Trinchieri getroffen. Sie haben sich unterhalten über den FC Bayern, über Basketball und Fußball natürlich, aber auch über den Druck, der heutzutage herrscht bei Spielern und auch auf die Trainer. Ein sehr interessantes Gespräch. Viel Spaß damit.
I believe I'm a good observer. So from outside, because I want to see the thing from outside and then come here because it's very important. As a coach, you can learn from anybody, any sport, how to prepare a game, how to focus, how leadership and all this. So I believe that I'm in love with Lewandowski because he delivers. He delivered Lewandowski, okay? And I believe that in your locker room, Manuel Neuer has
important role.
And I grew up with the example of Franco Baresi.
Yeah.
That he's not able to say a word, he's not very communicative, but he was a true leader without talking.
Yeah.
And this is very important because not everyone is capable of express things, so they lead by example. That sometimes is even more important.
Especially for if you have young talents in your squad, then these kind of role models are very important.
And I like Goretzka very much for his impact.
Yeah.
You have all good players.
That's true. A lot of.
A lot of. It's a very difficult job, very complicated because we deal with human beings, and human being has expectation, they have pressure, and all these things. But I believe it's an amazing job, and as I told you, I'm privileged to do this job. And I see only positive things from pressure. The job of coaching team sports changed a lot in the last 10 years. And because I'm reading what he's saying, I always try to. And he said that coaching is winning titles, but is also speaking to a group of people, talking to media, and having empathy with the players, because the biggest lie we say as coaches is every player is the same. It's not true. Every player has different needs, how to talk to him, how to address things, how to ask him to do more or to do less or to do different. So this is a very updated version of coaching. This is the reason because Julian is so modern, because you cannot coach the same way 10 years ago. Now you do one thing, and after 60 seconds, this thing is on a video somewhere else in the world. Right. Everywhere, from Thailand to Argentina or somewhere. And you cannot ignore these things. Players are human beings. And this is the reason, because he's modern. He's one step ahead of all these things.
At the end, if you win a game, you stay focused and you think about the next game. And then you think about the 90 minutes, what happened, what you can talk to the media, what are your first words in the dressing room towards your guys. They are also important after a game, what you find for good or bad words after a game when you talk to your team. And then you focus on the next game, because if you win a game, it only counts 1 hour, and then you have to focus. The players can enjoy the 3 points a little bit longer, but as a manager, you have to stay focused nearly 20 minutes after the game for the media, talking to the media, and then talking to your guys, and then just try to prepare the next opponent. So at the end, when we lose a game, I feel kind of, a good word is shame. I always think about, was the preparation good enough? The plan, was it good enough? Could we do it better? Could we change the formation during the game? Substitutions were the right ones or not? So at the end, if you lose a game, I feel kind of shame, but you're alone, because you don't want to celebrate with the fans. It's just the role and the part of the players. You try to focus on the next opponent. So I can see the feeling as well. Barefoot to walk towards and over ice, it's hard. So at the end, I can see the feeling, yeah.
I don't know if you are aware that we are in front of road to greatness, because usually the first thing after a loss is to blame somebody else. And Julian just said something that I feel very often, you feel ashamed, first towards yourself. What you can do better, what you can do more, or what you should not do. And this is the only way that you have to check on your ego and to move on to be better. So
It's a hard feeling, huh? It's a really hard feeling.
But I believe it's growing pains.
Yeah. But I think the crazy thing is that you enjoy a winning moment only, I don't know, 2 hours, and
Maybe less.
The hard. If you lose a game, it's hard. It's 2-3 days when you carry this with you,
But
and so that's not that easy.
We as coaches have this feeling because players with that feeling will not perform. They need just to go there and bounce back.
I think that's the most difficult part in our job, that you stay optimistic after a lose as well. And you go in front of your team, you have to find the right words that they...
Sometimes are not even negative.
They should not feel that you are very sad or upset and that you feel ashamed. That you feel
I believe
kind
that
of
they
shame,
should feel that you have a plan.
Yeah.
Even when the things
you
are
always
not
have
going.
to find the right words. But that's not that easy, I think.
No.
If you lose, if there's a big lose like in the cup against Gladbach, so I do not have to find the words because I was in quarantine, but normally I have to find it. So at the end, I think that's the most complicated part of our job, that you find the right words after you lose a game. You're so sad, you feel shame, you think about the things you have to do better, and then try to stay focused. And if the players should feel your energy and should feel that you have a plan for the next week and you're looking forward to the next week, try to work as hard as possible, try to do the things good for the next game. But that's not that easy if you feel upset like nearly 3 days after every losing game.
And one of the best medicines is that they feel your support even after a loss.
Yeah, that's right. Doesn't matter if you win or lose.
You cannot sleep.
Yeah, I cannot sleep. It took a long
4 or 5 o'clock in the
period
morning.
of time. Yeah.
Adrenaline, the software doesn't go sleep.
Yeah.
It's still, you know.
Sometimes when I fall asleep, I scream the names of my players after a game. My wife told me.
I have a small notebook close to my bed, and I found written things in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think it's always important to try to be nearly perfect. That's one way to be better and better and still improving. But you should clear in your brain that you could not reach it normally. But I think it's a really important step. Try to do a perfect job and try to do a perfect game. But you always will try it, but you will not reach it normally.
You know, good is the biggest enemy of excellent. Because when you settle for good, comfort zone, you will never improve. So our job is to strive for perfection, address perfection, teach perfection, be perfect as much as a human being can be perfect. Yeah. We are imperfect. Yeah. And like this, you can build culture, winning culture.
At the end, mistakes are also important to reach the level of perfection. If you never do mistakes, you will never learn. So at the end, mistakes are also important for the future to be perhaps nearer to perfection than the day before.
Yes, this is the reason because you have to address the mistake, because sometimes player doesn't know why one thing is happening. Yeah. Because they have this self-protect mode, and for a player it's good, but you need to go through mistakes to be better.
Yeah, it's nearly the same as I mentioned in one of my interviews. I said it's to be manager or coach is like being a baker. You get the flour and so on, try to do the best bread which is possible. You get the ingredients and try to mix it a little bit, trying to find the perfect solution so that the bread smells and tastes very good for breakfast or something else. So at the end, I think it's nearly the same, and I can see the words. Yes.
You can be work in a bakery, you can be a chef, you can be a tailor. It's all, they give you something and you have to put it together and do something better. For a sportsman, there's no better picture, maybe only Michael Jordan taking the last shot of his career, you know, the shot. But the picture for whoever works in sports with, I don't know how many trophies, more than 30. The Kaiser has in that picture, huge picture. He's in the middle, surrounded by trophies. You know, we all say it's all about winning. And when you see that picture, you understand why it's all about winning. But that, I really felt something, a special atmosphere, a special something, a Stimmung in everywhere, you know, in the arena, in the museum. I understood the magnitude of the club.
Yeah, it's important. Bayern Munich is a traditional club, a lot of history. They won a lot of titles in the past and try to win a lot of titles in the future as well. There were a lot of great players who play for Bayern Munich, and there are still a lot of great players who still play for Bayern Munich. So at the end, history is important. Could show you a little bit the way for the future as well. Never forget where you come from. I think that's important. It's also a big important part if you want to have new players for your squad. Then Bayern Munich is a big name in soccer, and that's such a big name because of the great history of this club.
Sehr interessante Einblicke, wie ich finde. Ein sehr interessanter Talk. Ich hoffe, ihr seid in der kommenden Woche wieder mit dabei. Bis dahin, macht's gut.